So I'm grinding, I'm begging you please. Girl, come stop playing with me. You're the one I need. Let's make it rock, girl, don't you feel that chemistry? I'm feeling you, I really hope that's equally. I'm one call away, this is like 1, 2, 3.
And for the people that didn't hear me, let me say it again. Let me say it again one more time. Everyone say hi to YouTube fam. Yes, sir. Now get your snacks, get your bevs. And let's get straight into the video like that. Come on. Let's go.
Joe in the Niigata prefecture in Japan.
Okay.
Despite a massive search party, the police were unable to find the girl, or even any clues related to her disappearance. It got to the point where they even began to expect that she was one of a growing number of girls kidnapped by North Korean operatives. The truth was, after heading home that day, she was ambushed by a strange man who grabbed her and threw her into the trunk of his car. She was then held in the upstairs apartment at the man's mother's home for over 9 years straight, never stepping foot outside, despite the house being only a short walk from the nearest police station.
Bro, what? Bro, she got held captive from 9 years old to 19 years old. Why are these always based in Japan? I don't understand. A lot of them are. A lot of them are. Bro, I don't even know. Listen, I don't even know no more. That's just it. I don't even know no more. I don't even know to say no more. I literally don't. I literally don't. Let's just watch the video because it just started and yeah, I already knew this was gonna be a video.
After watching my videos, I'm sure you've come to see that safety is extremely important. Maybe you're even feeling a bit paranoid. Well, I can offer you some security, or internet service in your local where you want.
Listen, get to your money, okay? I understand, but not right now, gang. Gotta keep it $1.50 with you.
If you go out with your laptop, think about all the personal information security. You can even use leaving the internet 8 days of Furuta video, more so than usual. Okay. This is somewhat of a sequel to the Junko Furuta video.
A sequel? What? What do you mean a sequel? Hold on. Everyone stop. Hold on.
The cases were pretty often compared in the Japanese media, and I think you'll see why later on. Given that, I just want to give out a little warning. This one gets bad too.
Chat. We're giving you a disclaimer before we start this. Okay? If you want to exit out the video now, I understand. Okay? YouTube fam, I understand if you want to exit out the video. I understand. Just drop a like and subscribe before you do that, and we'll be good. But if you continue watching, yeah. Buckle yourself in!
If you have a hard time stomaching this sort of thing, just feel free to click off to another video. But if you're prepared, let's get started.
We got strong stomachs, bro.
Fusako Sano had been kidnapped by a very mentally ill man named Nobuyuki Sato, then 28 years old and unemployed. Sato was born in 1962 to a father who was a chauffeur to a wealthy client at a big company in Tokyo during the post-war era. That father had 5 kids with another mother, but ended up outliving her and then married Sato's mother afterwards. His father was 62 while his mother was 36. His father had built a new home for Sato and his mother, which included a large Western-style room on the second floor, which was to be his nursery. Unfortunately, this cozy room for one child would end up being a complete living hell for another. Sato, when getting into middle school, eventually told his mother that he was too scared to go to school. He was taken to a mental health facility and diagnosed as having germophobia, among other things. His phobia got so intense that he would threaten to disown his father if he ever came home with the slightest amount of dirt on him. In high school, although being quite tall and somewhat intimidating...
Should have disowned who? Bro, you could leave the house. You know that, right? You could leave the house. How you gonna disown me? Bro, you can leave.
He was very soft-spoken, often being called an okama by the other kids. which is a word that basically translates as a slur against gay or trans people.
Oh, okay.
He withdrew into himself and took his anger home with him.
Is that Okama?
Often venting and taking his frustrations out on his family. Afterwards, he went to go work at an automobile parts factory.
Okay, got some little 9 to 5.
Often got him into trouble. There was a public urination case, for one, and another time he retreated back home on his way to work, his excuse being that he got caught in a spider web. So eventually he left that job and stopped working entirely. It's safe to say that...
Imagine you're a boss, right? Imagine you're a boss, and your worker leaves on break, comes back, and you're like, or you call him and you say, yo, where'd you go after break? And he says, oh, I got caught in the spider web. I couldn't come back, but I made it out and went home. That spider should have ate you, because you should stay home. No, it's as simple as that. I don't even understand. My job would have been gone. Not getting no money on. That's probably why he lost his job.
That by this point in his life, he was already pretty gone. At age 19, he got into an argument with his mother, claiming he was leaving home for good. He set fire to a Buddhist altar in the home, which spiraled out of control into a huge house fire.
Yo.
He was taken in for another mental examination, and it was determined that he had a severe case of OCD. After about a month of intense medication and supervision, he was released.
Oh, severe case, man. That means, like, everything was so dirty to the point where he said just burn it. Like, literally. Everything was so dirty to the point he said, bro, just burn it. Because, like, just burn it. That's serious, man. That's serious.
After that point, he spent most of his time betting on horse races and obsessing over idols. Eventually, he told his mother that it was time he started becoming independent and expressed his interest in building an addition onto their house. She complied, and a new room was added to the second floor of the home, giving him somewhat of his own apartment up there.
Oh, wow.
But the room was given up on mid-construction. Sato kept fussing over the construction crew bringing germs into the home, and he also failed to keep many of his promises, including looking for a job. It was at this...
So, bruh, you couldn't just get a job, bruh? You would have your own apartment.
Point that Sato went from being a regular piece of shit to a criminal piece of shit. In June of 19...
I could tell this guy doesn't like him. And by the end of this video, I'm not gonna like him either.
1989, he ended up waiting outside of an elementary school gate and shadowing 4 young girls as they walked out of the school, all around 9 years old. He ended up tailing one until she came close to a vacant lot, when he then dragged her into said lot and attempted to have his way with her. However, another girl ended up witnessing him taking her off into the lot and ran off to tell some older students.
Oh my gosh. Bro. No, he's got. Oh my gosh, he's got. What?
An office worker from the school then showed up and captured Sato. The police were called and he was arrested on charges of an attempted indecent act.
Exactly, he didn't do it.
2 months after this, his father...
Yo, I'm telling you, if this was America, he would have got charged for sexual assault. And it would have been done. Book closed. I'm telling you. That would have been the first thing they gave him, because we know what he was going to do. We know.
Would pass away, likely in complete shame over what his son had become. In that September, he was sentenced to a 1-year suspended sentence as a result. The court decided that his chances of reoffending were low, and in lieu of probation, decided to release him to his mother's custody, on the condition that she look after him and guide him. And as we know, this did not work out.
Yeah, because this would
While
not be
still
a
on
video
his
if it did not work.
sentence,
If it worked out.
Sato took his mother's car and went out for a drive on November 13th of 1990.
Okay.
He drove around for a couple of hours until he ended up spotting a young girl that piqued his interest, Fusako Sano, at around 5 p.m. It was unplanned, as far as we know.
Oh, it's just gonna show a black screen for right now? Okay.
Upon seeing the little girl walking around by herself, he made the decision to kidnap her. He parked the car in front of her and got out brandishing a knife, making his way closer to her. He told her, "Be good and don't say a word." Sano was too scared to move, so Sato was able to pick her up and throw her into the trunk of the car easily. He drove for a while until he stopped on the side of the road, where he got out and ran to the back of the car. He opened the trunk and bound Sano's hands with tape and covered her eyes as well.
Guys, oh my gosh. This is turning into another one of those videos. We're only 8 minutes in. This is a 27-minute video. Do you not understand you're not understanding how much is gonna happen in the next, oh my gosh, in the next couple of minutes we have. We have 19 minutes left. 19.2 to be exact.
He once again closed the trunk and set off towards his house, arriving home at around 6:30 p.m. So that his mom wouldn't spot him hauling a 9-year-old into the house, he decided to enter the home through an entrance to the unfinished addition to the house. Then he went back around to the front door by himself and entered the home as normal, as if nothing was out of the ordinary. He went up to Sano, locked up in the old nursery, and removed her blindfold. He told her, "You don't want to end up killed like all those other kidnapped girls, do you? You're never going to leave this room. You're going to live in here forever. If you break this promise, I won't need you anymore. I'll bury you in the mountains or send you floating away in the ocean," he added.
Guys, I don't think I was ready for this video. No, I don't think I was ready for this video. We have to finish it though. We already started it. We're finishing it.
From here on, her confinement would continue for years and years and years. When Sano didn't come home that night, her mother went to a police substation and begged them to search for her. A search party formed of police officers and volunteers from the school, getting as large as 200 people, and they set out to search for any clues as to her whereabouts. They searched everywhere, from vacant homes to shipping containers, even using helicopters to search for the girl. Over 20,000 missing posters were drafted up and passed around, but no clues were ever found. Sato continued to threaten Sano repeatedly during her confinement. He would often swing his knife around her, injuring her dozens of times in the process.
What?
In the beginning, he would bind her up so tightly that she couldn't move whenever he went to bed for the night. Her legs were bound tightly together for over a year straight.
A year? You couldn't let her just move around at least? What the f... I don't even know. Oh my gosh.
To make it even more difficult for her to escape, Sato kept the layout of the home a secret to her. Whenever he would leave the room, he would either blindfold her or tie her up and throw her under a blanket on the bed. After about a year or two, Sato got more violent in his torture of Sano. He started using a stun gun to deal out his sick punishments, threatening to stab her if she let out her voice while being shocked. She often had to bite down on a blanket to refrain from screaming as she got stunned.
You're stunning her with a stun gun and you're gonna stab her if she screams? Bro, oh my gosh, bro. It's not only the physical torture that they put these people through, but it's also the mental, and that's the biggest thing. A lot of the physical stuff, like you get your arm cut off. Okay, like some people get their arm cut off. It happens, right? A lot of work, like, you know what I mean? People, right? Boom, that happens. Arm cut off. You can still, right, move life if you're not done, right? If your mental is gone, you are gone forever. Fixing that is not a a mindset switch. No, you have no mindset to switch. Your mind is God. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. So, like, that is the other thing. Like, even if some people make it out of these, they're still not the same up here. They said this was a sequel to Junko. If this is a sequel to her, yeah.
He would also attempt pro wrestling moves on her as well. Again,
What are we doing? What are we doing? Why are you... So are you trying to tell me... No. Be dead ass. Are you trying to tell me that this man is over here doing RKOs and things? Bro, what is wrong with this guy?
and punishing her if she let her voice slip. It's believed that he hit her lightly during the duration of her captivity over 700 times, and that he hit her with considerable strength around 300 times. She would get hit in the eyes so hard that she would lose her sight from time to time.
What?
Eventually, she started using the stun gun on herself, hoping to be able to get used to the sensation so that it wouldn't bother her anymore. She developed a dissociative disorder as a defense mechanism, meaning she began feeling that another person was the one being hit, not her.
Oh my... What did I tell you? I told you it was the... I don't be lying when I say this. I don't be lying when I say this. I told you this. It's a mindset thing. It's a mindset thing.
Allowing her to kind of distance herself from the pain inside her mind. Sano was initially, obviously, terrified, but this fear soon waned as she began to give up and accept her fate. Sato would bring clothes to her for her to wear, usually his own, and initially fed her 3 times a day. It was either food that he brought by himself or food that was cooked by his mother, who was still living on the first floor.
At least she was eating. At least he wasn't starving her. That's one thing. At least he wasn't starving her. At least. And that's not saying forgiving him for everything else he was doing and did that I don't know. But at least he was feeding her. I don't know if he stopped though. See, oh my god. I'm saying too much. I didn't even finish the video.
For some reason, Sato began fearing that Sano might be developing diabetes because of a bruise on her leg, likely caused by him. He decided that she was getting too much sugar and began limiting her meals to once a day.
As soon as I say that. There's no way! Oh my gosh, there's no way! There's actually no way. As soon as I say that... They have to be playing a joke on me. There's no way. As soon as... Oh my gosh. I feel like it's my fault. I feel like it's my fault.
She went from weighing 46 kilograms to 38 kilograms and began feeling very faint most of the time, usually spending most of her time lying down. Eventually, her legs withered to the point of being unable to walk around on her own anymore.
What?
She needed to build strength in her legs, but Sato wouldn't allow this, as that might end up with her exposing herself to his mother. There was no toilet on the second floor of the home, and Sato, obsessing over cleanliness in an odd way, didn't use the toilet, instead using plastic bags.
Bro, you're obsessed with cleanliness, but you just have trash bags everywhere with stuff in it? Bro, told you. He's not good in his head, so it doesn't even matter. Like, what is right and wrong to him? For real. What is right and wrong to him?
Which he would then seal and put out into the hallway. He was embarrassed of this, so he forbid Sano to see the hallway, blindfolding her if it were ever necessary to go out there. One day, after being severely weakened, Sano fell out of bed, injuring her already weakened body. Nevertheless, she was forced to crawl down the stairs and into the shower herself while still blindfolded. The mother of Sato consulted the public health center in January 1996 because Sato had been acting strangely and had become very violent towards her. However, nothing was really done about it.
Of course. The police not doing anything. What is a surprise? That's not a surprise. What a surprise! Oh my god, surprise! Then do oh my When it comes to these cases, and especially in Japan, or I don't know where this is, but the police are garbaggio back then. I always say this, back then, because I don't know about now, but back then, no. They sold. They sell every time.
Sato's mother, despite living downstairs, is reported to have had absolutely no contact with Sano whatsoever over the years. Sato would get very violent if she ever attempted to go upstairs, leading to her never even trying to go up there. Okay. Many people, however, including the police, speculate that she must have had some knowledge that another person was up there.
You had to,
it's alleged that she bought feminine hygiene products for Sato, for example. Sato...
So your son asked for feminine hygiene products. He has no girl. You have no daughter. He has no friends. No female friends. He has none of that. So what do you think he's doing with those? Shouldn't you ask him who are these for? If he says girl, what am I going to see her? Like, bro, come on. Like, ask some questions.
Would cut Sano's hair by himself, often into short, choppy cuts. There was no bath on the second floor of the home, so Sano was only allowed to bathe once in a while, with permission and while being watched by her captor. She lived a very boring life while not being directly harmed.
Bro. Oh my gosh, bro.
By Sato. She spent the bulk of her time listening to the radio and reading newspapers.
God, I know this is a video and all. And this story already happened. But please, please tell me she made it out. Because I need her to make it out. Please.
Later on in her captivity, she was allowed to watch TV from time to time. Sato would also talk to her about topics that interested him, providing the most mild of entertainment.
Oh,
the door to the apartment was never locked. But despite this, Sano never attempted to even take one step outside in all of those years.
Yeah, bro.
At first, it was because she was too scared, but eventually it was because she lost all the willpower and energy to even try.
Damn, I told you it was a mental thing. I told you it was a mental thing.
Throughout her confinement, Sano had very little exposure to the outside world outside of TV and radio. She never developed mentally past her 9-year-old state.
Obviously not, because she was 9. She didn't get to go hang out with her friends. She didn't get to try to drive a car. She didn't get to try to do anything, go out or anything. Like, she didn't get to live life at all. She didn't get to live life at all. She went from her kid years to literally her grown years and didn't live no life. Like, those are the best parts of your life. Like, until you're 19, 20, like when you're 20, like 20 and down, those are really the best parts of your life, I'm telling you. You're young. See, technically I'm still young, but at the end of the day, you're young. And you're in high school. High school? Listen, to all my people that are outside of high school, we know how fun high school was. We know. I told myself when I was in grade 12 I'm going to miss high school. I told myself that, even though I hated that place. I told myself I'm going to miss it, though. That's a fact.
It was later found that she had a very noticeably low intelligence level when compared to peers of her own age. Sato stated that he saw Sano as a friend throughout her captivity, and claimed that he gave her everything she needed to develop normally. By this point in her captivity, she started...
What do you even know about What do you even know about the, like, developing normally? What do you even know about that? Yep. Oh my gosh. I'm not even gonna get out of my body.
Started obeying my orders very well. I thought that I'd like to live with her forever. We could talk on equal footing about horse races and cars. I genuinely did like her. It felt like she was a girl my own age. She was an irreplaceable partner to me, so I could never let her go, Sato said.
Bro, he is God. Like, God. I hope we have all this lingo because he was caught.
Sato's mother was so afraid of his violent outbursts that she tried to work as much as possible. When she was forced to retire at 65, she began killing time outside the house as much as possible to avoid going home.
Bro, go tell the police. You know something is going on.
By 1999, Sato began using the stun gun on his mother as well.
What? You're using a stun gun on your own mother?
Along with punching her and kicking her, he began tying her up as well, only releasing her to let her go to the bathroom, according to the mother. The mother called to get mental help for her son on January 12th of 2000, and basically getting nothing out of it, she then tried calling again on January 19th, begging for an official to come visit the home. They finally complied, and some healthcare officials finally did visit the home that Friday on the 20th.
Finally!
Healthcare workers approached Sato and told him that he was going to be taken in for a mental health evaluation. This resulted in an enormous violent outburst that did nothing but further prove their point. Subsequently, the police were called to the scene.
Thank you.
It was during the commotion that everyone noticed a lump under a blanket moving around in his room. When removing the blanket, they were shocked to reveal a sickly pale, short-haired girl underneath. They asked her who she was. She simply told them, "I need to get my thoughts in order." They called...
Bro, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't see, and when I'm right, and that's all I gotta say. I told y'all, boys and girls. It's a mental thing. It's a mental thing. It's a mental thing, I'm telling you.
Called Sato's mother into the room and asked who the hell this girl was. She responded, "I don't know, I've never seen her before." They then informed the girl that Sato was likely going to be going away for a long time and asked what she wanted to do, likely thinking that she could have possibly been his girlfriend. Sano looked toward the mother and asked, "Is it okay if I stay here?" The officials urged her to call her own home. She responded, "My home might not be around anymore." The mother asked where her home was. Sano responded, "Maybe here."
Bro. He broke her. Because remember she said she has a split personality disorder? This is the other personality talking. The other personality doesn't have a home. The other personality lives here. Lives here. She knows where her house is. She knows who she is. But it's her other personality that lives there at the house. That was a personality getting tortured every single day. She wasn't getting tortured in her mind. It was the other personality who lives here.
Sano was then taken to the hospital, as Sato was taken away to a mental facility and his mother was taken to a separate hospital. They urged her to please give them her identity, saying they could work to find her family if they were still out there. She finally complied. The police were shocked to find that she had been the young girl that went missing almost a decade prior.
Yep.
Sano told the officials, I was abducted near the school by a man who forced me into a car. For 9 years, I did not take a step out of the house. Today, I went out for the first time. Upon her medical examination after being rescued, Sano was found to be relatively healthy given the circumstances, although she was notably very weak and skinny due to the lack of food and exercise.
Okay.
She could barely walk, her leg muscles had atrophied so badly. She was also fairly dehydrated as well. Due to a complete lack of exposure to sunlight, she was extremely pale and suffering from jaundice. While she had the body of an emaciated
Jaundice? What's that? We're gonna search it up after.
19-year-old, she was mentally on par with a child. Understandably, she also had a pretty severe case of PTSD. Soon after, the police were finally able to get in contact with Sano's mother. She was finally reunited with her family after almost 10 years. Her own mother didn't even recognize her at first, given that she hadn't seen her since she was 9 years old.
Literally. She's 19. Imagine your kid, 9 years old, you lose them. The police find them. And now, boom, you see your kid again after 10 years and they're 19 years old. If you saw me at 9 and saw me at 19, you would not recognize me. Some people keep their face. I ain't gonna lie, some people really do keep their face.
Nobuyuki Sato, now 37 years old, was hospitalized that very day, being deemed mentally unstable. Within a month, his status was formally changed from suspect to criminal, and he was finally arrested on February 11th of 2000. Sato's mother was heavily criticized around the time of his arrest. Given that the Junko Furuta case from 1989 was still at this time fresh on the minds of the populace, people couldn't help but make connections.
Bro, that case right there, guys. If you want to see that case, I reacted to that one too on a different stream. It's on the YouTube though, Twitch. Go to the YouTube, it's there. YouTube. If you're watching this video right here, watch this video. Watch that video. If not for me, for yourself, watch that video.
In both cases, a young girl was held captive on the second floor of a home while the parents lived on the first floor. In the Junko Furuta case, the parents knew very well that a girl was being held upstairs and chose to do nothing. Could that have been the same in this case? People were eager to find the answer to that question.
I need to know.
The mother defended herself, saying, "I didn't know of the captivity, and I haven't set foot on the second floor for years." To be fair, absolutely none of the mother's fingerprints were found on the second floor.
Oh, wow.
Sano herself confirmed that she knew of the mother's existence, but that was about it. The mother was left as merely a witness in the case. After Sano was not involved, the police in Japan started facing some heavy criticism.
Thank you! Oh my, cause I say this way too many times. Like, bro, they don't do their job for real, bruh. Damn, do your job. What do we pay you for? Our taxes go to you. You know that, right? Protect us. Protect us.
Mainly given that Sato had already attempted to kidnap another young girl in the same fashion, and he was simply let go. And oddly enough, his name had disappeared from their internal list of criminals, so he was never even considered a suspect in Sano's disappearance in the first place, despite fitting the bill pretty perfectly and being in that very area. When Sano was rescued, the Niigata Prefectural Police Chief, a man named Koji Kobayashi, didn't even show up to the police station to check up on the investigation.
They don't care. They're doing it for a check. They don't care.
Instead, he spent his night playing mahjong with the head of the Regional Police Bureau. After word of this got out, along with a slew of errors made by the police in the coming weeks, Kobayashi formally resigned from his position on February 26th.
Yeah, resign, bro. We don't
The head
need
of the
people that don't want
Regional
to do their
Police
job.
Bureau also ended up resigning a few days later on the
good.
29th.
Good.
The media
Resign too.
began publishing pictures of Sano and her family, which was deemed as a human rights violation by the police and heavily criticized. The anonymity of all involved in this case was quickly lost as this case became a media storm.
Damn.
One side would often argue that Sano never tried to escape and that something was fishy. The other side argued that she was convinced that she would be killed if she tried to escape.
What? Wait, so what do you guys think? Do you guys think she's lying? So what, she wanted to be there for 10 years? She got abducted at 9 years old. He planted a seed. She's only 9.
So naturally she wouldn't try. It's pretty sick that this was an argument in the first place.
How is it even it's not an argument.
Sato's trial began a few months later on May 23rd in 2000. The prosecutors walked on eggshells throughout the case, trying not to damage Sano's already fragile mental health throughout the proceedings. Sato claimed insanity, after which some psychiatrists held some tests to determine if that was truly the case. They found that he was at least mentally fit to face his charges, and he himself ended up admitting to them. Sato was facing 10 years in prison, the maximum penalty for abduction.
10 years? Why do they always get out so early?
Ironically, not really any longer than he had held Sano captive. Prosecutors, along...
That's what I'm saying. He held her for 10 years, so he's basically getting karma and getting put in jail for 10 years. Bro, he needs life.
With virtually everyone else, felt that this sentencing was pretty light given the circumstances. To boost the sentence a little bit, they started adding every minor charge they could think of. This even included charges for one time that Sato had shoplifted some women's underwear.
I'm just gonna say okay.
Really just anything to get that year total up. Sato, now 40, was finally found guilty. He was sentenced to 14 years in prison due to a combination of charges including abduction, confinement, and theft. His defense soon appealed on January 24th in 2002, and the trial ended up moving up to the Tokyo High Court.
In 2002? I was born that year.
Unfortunately, on December 10th, the High Court actually decided to reduce Sato's sentence down to 11 years.
It's not even just the police, it's the people above the police. I don't even know. I'm done.
They said that the ruling by the district court was technically done wrong. It ruled that his charges should be dealt with individually, not lumped together. So he would serve the maximum 10 years for the abduction charge and 1 additional year for the theft charges.
Okay.
Sato was then sent off to Chiba prison, which is, not surprisingly, in the Chiba prefecture. Sano's father ended up breaking his silence and releasing a statement after the High Court ruling, saying that no matter what they decided upon, there was only anger and regret left for their family.
That's a
Nothing
fact.
was going to change that their family was deprived of happiness and a regular home life.
Yep.
There was no way to regain that 9 years, 2 months, and 15 days of my daughter's life during which she could not feel any joy, happiness, pain, or sadness as one normally would,
Literally.
he said. Fortunately, he was able to add that his daughter had gradually come to live a peaceful, relatively normal life, and that she would often spend her days watching soccer matches or taking photos of flowers in the garden
so she
with
likes
a
football
digital camera.
and photography.
She was also able to get her driver's license and attend her coming-of-age ceremony.
Guys, I told you. She didn't even get to whipping a vehicle yet. Like, that first whipping that vehicle when you're about 16 years old, bro, you feel like you're about to like you're about to be Dominic Toretto doing wheelies in that bit. I'm telling you. That's how you really feel, though. I'm telling you. She got to do that. She gotta get. That's good. I'm so happy she made it out. You don't understand. Because this is what I want for Junko. so happy she made it out.
Ceremony when she turned 20. Although more than 3 years had passed since she had been saved by that point, she was still receiving counseling from a team of medical doctors appointed by the prefecture between 2 to 4 times a month. In 2003, during Sato's prison stay, his mother passed away at an old folks' home. The same as his father, likely in shame. In the coming years after she was released, Sano dealt with more hardship as her father drowned in a pond right in front of her eyes as the two went swimming for fun.
Oh my gosh!
Naturally, she was devastated, but at least for a time, the two were able to reunite. Mostly due to the outrage surrounding this case, the punishment for criminal confinement was increased from 10 years to 15 years. In April of 2015, Sato was eventually released from prison.
At this point, just make it 20 years.
He chose not to go back to Niigata and instead chose to remain in Chiba, where his prison was. He lived alone in a small apartment and mainly lived off of welfare for the disabled. 2 years later, in 2017, it was noticed that Sato failed to show up to work one day. Police went out to his place and he was found dead, all alone in his tiny apartment in Chiba City. He was in his mid-50s at the time. An autopsy was performed, but the cause of his death wasn't found. Fusako Sano attempted to return to a normal...
Let me tell you something, guys. I don't wish death on nobody. I can't do that. I can't wish death on nobody. I'm not gonna do that. You see what I mean? I just wish they gave him life. Because death is too easy. They should have gave him life in prison. And locked the key. I told you, we're done putting people inside of jails. I told you this. We put them under the jail now. I said this, I don't know how much I have to repeatedly say this over and over and over and over again. We put them under the jail. That's what we do now. We don't put people inside of jails. We put them under the jail when they're like this. Under it. Cement. Water, cement. I say this all the time. Cement, water, cement in that formation. Lock the gate. Elevator. I'm telling you.
Normal life. Her physical health improved greatly and she was finally able to move around normally. She helps out in her family's rice paddy out in the countryside. Due to her stunted social development, she has a hard time socializing. She doesn't have many friends and often spends her time alone. But she keeps busy with her photography hobby and her love of soccer and attends games pretty often. Her family continues to refuse to comment on the ordeal.
Well, that's anyway.
Just
keep it close to
for
heart.
watching my video. This is definitely,
guys. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That was a video. Was it worse than the Junko one? I'm not gonna lie. It's a sequel. And you know what they say about sequels. The first one is always better. So I'm telling you that Junko one, that video literally had me like speechless at points in times. This one, I'm happy it had a happy ending, man. I'm happy it had a happy ending because at the same time I'm just happy it had a happy ending. I really am.